Today's video will be with 3 topics that are really important for men to take seriously going to a job interview. And I'm both talking here from experience, but also from receiving feedback from actual interviewers and from other candidates going through the process. The first thing you want to keep in mind here, you want to take seriously, is that those first awkward moments of opening up a conversation, the rapport building phase, if you want. You must really prep that in advance. You must really see through going into a job interview. The reason for this is because you might think, hey, it's those classic opening statement, but it's not as straightforward as that, and you might be surprised how much that counts, especially for a phone interview, where it's in 1 hour or in 45 minutes, it's basically impossible for someone to have a clear impression about yourself. So first impression might also as well be the last impression. So that's why the rapport building phase, it's really, really essential. And if I just may add one more note here at this one, after your conversation, you can also follow up with a thank you email if you want, if you feel comfortable doing that, and if you at all feel it makes sense. Or in some cases, some candidates have something to add, have something to clarify in a follow-up email as well. So this is also part of the rapport building phase, if you want. So really do take this one seriously. The second thing you want to take seriously in a job interview is to really know yourself. And by this I mean to really study yourself. Like look at yourself in the mirror going into a job interview, into a remote virtual on-site, but even in a normal on-site, if that ever comes back. Study yourself. See how you react, see your face expression, record yourself if you want. Because these things will reveal a lot more insight than you would expect about yourself. And this is particularly for men. We don't really used to look ourselves in the mirror all that often, or at least I don't think so. It's not my case. So that's why studying myself or studying yourself as a man will actually give you a lot more insight about how you perform going into a job interview. And if we are at this stage, also study yourself against the job description, and also look at your strengths and weaknesses. So the idea is that you must form a clear impression about who you are going into the job interview. And I found here, that women are a lot more careful about tidying up their image with these things, and I believe men could also definitely take advantage during during this prep stage of the job interview. And last but not least, number 3 here, when you're preparing for a remote interview, please ensure that the connection will be stable. Like I know this from my coaching experience. It's always with men that it happens that the connection is not good. And I won't say it's for technical roles or for technical men, but it's always men that have troubles connecting in a conversation in a digital environment. So please have a backup connection, or test it out in advance, because this is something that's you must really simply pay attention to. The other thing, the sound, of course, how you sound, your voice. It's they must hear you as well, but usually the connection will fix that as well. And the setup, the scene, you don't have to prepare anything fancy, or at least you must prepare something that's representative of you. It doesn't you don't have to be complicated with these things, but adding a little touch of something. For example, if you're applying for an Amazon role and you have a dog, Amazon's offices are dog friendly. So if you have a dog, if he pops up in the frame every now and then, might be to your advantage, might also be to your disadvantage, but depending how you manage that situation. But the idea is that there are points to score also with the setup during a remote interview. And the overall thing here is to really pay attention to the details that are not necessarily the behavioral part or the technical part of the interview, but the other details going into a job interview, because oftentimes these things will make a difference to your performance.